they told me I'd be earning $300 a month, but I'm only getting 150. And sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't, and it's toxic. And, there's a lot of not so great stories. And sometimes those not so great stories are from companies that would surprise you, companies that everybody's heard of. Both sides, those problems could be solved with more transparency, more data, more insights, more communication and conversation.
Welcome to Lyfe Campus, and thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you're well wherever you are. My name is Ezra. I'm your host and your guide as we navigate the twists and turns of life in the diaspora and life on our lovely continent of Africa. Last week, I started a conversation with Peter, who is an American who went to Zimbabwe at the age of 18. And he fell in love with Zimbabwe. He fell in love with the people. He fell in love with culture. He fell in love with sadza. He fell in love with our lovely Chibuku Skad. And he's sharing his story. And we covered that last week. And this week is the second part of that conversation, where Peter continues to tell us about his experience in Zimbabwe. But not only his love for the country, he's also now a founder of two organizations in Zimbabwe. One of them is Pachena, which is to do with employment and recruitment and things like that. And also the other one, the main one, is Uncommon, which is a charitable organization helping young adults to learn coding and to prepare them to go into the work environment. So this is important work, and Peter is going to go into that, explain a little bit more of how that works. So enjoy the episode, and thank you very much. Here we are. But you are in Zimbabwe, you are working with Uncommon. That's not the only thing that you are doing for kind of that is Africa related. You are also working on this platform called Pachena. And Pachena, it's a Shona word, right? Do you know what it means?
The way I understand it is like out in the open, out in the light, and it's supposed to be a metaphor for transparency. But you tell me, what does it mean to you?
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly what it is. It's transparent. It's patronized. Yeah, it's exactly what you mean. That's what it is. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about Pachena?
Yeah, thank you. And it was I was in Bulawayo with the Uncommon team, two of my colleagues driving, and I was telling them about this idea and saying, guys, I need a name. And Pachena was one of the ideas that they gave me, and I thank them for it because I think it's a great name. I like it a lot. But so just like back to the why of Pachena before I tell you what it is, my experience at Uncommon, I have kind of a unique, I get to see both sides of like the employment space. On one hand, we are an employer. We employ people at Uncommon. And we've never really known, are we paying people too little? Are we paying people too much? Are we paying them just the right amount? It's been very hard to get any type of like meaningful and affordable data. Some people say they can give you this data, but it costs a lot of money, which is, I think, shouldn't be that way. But we always struggled with that, just understanding what are the compensation packages that our peers are giving, what are the compensation packages that are at this specific role should be earning and commanding. So this lack of data as an employer has been a frustration. And then as somebody that is passionate about helping people get jobs and staying in touch with them after they do get jobs and hearing from them. Some of them are great. Man, I'm earning $1,500 a month. I was only earning $1,000 a year. And now look at me, man. Everybody's going to school. My parents are taken care of. Like, that's amazing. I love my company. I love my manager. But then there's other examples. Man, they told me I'd be earning $300 a month, but I'm only getting 150. And sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't. And it's toxic. And there's a lot of not so great stories. And sometimes those not so great stories are from companies that would surprise you, companies that everybody's heard of. And it's just frustrating to see the young people that we care so much about, that we've invested so much into, go into environments that they weren't prepared for, or that weren't as advertised, or maybe just aren't really, they're just not good environments. And all of that both sides, those problems could be solved with more transparency, more data, more insights, more communication and conversation about this kind of stuff. And that was the main motivation for Pachena. And Pachena is not a novel or new idea. Glassdoor is the big company that people around the world, especially in the US and Europe, might be familiar with, that started in the same way, just like a way for employees to anonymously share insights about employers. But Glassdoor it hasn't taken off in Zimbabwe. It hasn't really taken off in Africa. And I think we have a short window. So basically a couple months ago, at Uncommon, we want to teach our students how to build startups. And I was like, well, I should probably build a startup. If I'm going to be the one facilitating and talking and helping teach this stuff, I need to get my hands dirty. It's been a while. Uncommon is still a startup, but we're kind of like 8 years down the road. So I need to get back into the arena. So this was an idea that I've always been passionate about. It's always been in my notes on my phone. Glassdoor for Zimbabwe, somebody please build it because I would use it and I need it. And finally, because of AI, as I mentioned, I'm not a technical guy, but because of AI, I was able to just build up a simple MVP, test it, launch it, test it, get feedback about it, iterate, make changes. And now I'm really excited to have recruited some co-founders. We've had hundreds of people reviewing the platform or leaving reviews on the platform. Hundreds of companies have been added. And we're getting ready for like our big splashy launch in a couple of months. We're now building a couple more features, but the goal for Pachena is just more transparency in the labor market, more insights for employers. It's not just a place to talk about your employers. We want employers to get value from the platform as well. So not only will employers be able to manage their brand, articulate their approach and the way they value transparency, they value their employees' voices being heard, but also they'll be able to post jobs. It's got application tracking software embedded into it, so they'll be able to manage job applications. And also, importantly, get access to those insights that I really wanted at Uncommon. An employer in Zimbabwe should be able to know, we are hiring for a junior software engineer. What are the market rates for a junior software engineer with 3 years of experience and a university degree? And what is the range that my peers are paying? So now I want to pay a little bit more so I can recruit the best person. And the hope is that more transparency, more data, more insights leads to higher wages, leads to happier employees, and ultimately more productive companies. So we think everybody wins in the long run when there's more transparency in the labor market. So that's kind of the why of Pachena. And it's when we first shared the idea on LinkedIn, people were so excited. I mean, the response was overwhelmingly positive, which gave me a lot of confidence. But of course it would be like, who wouldn't want more insights and transparency? It's not a novel idea. It's just new to the market.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing idea because I work with this other organization in Zimbabwe. It's called NG Global. What they do, they train people and prepare people for global opportunities, so remote working and stuff like that. So you can imagine someone who is in Zimbabwe and they have not worked before, but they've got a degree, they've qualified, and they're looking for a job maybe to work in the US or something like that. So that kind of preparation, they do go through all the preparation and the training and development for those opportunities. And I speak to some of these candidates, and they do not have an idea of their value, like how much are they supposed to be paid at all. So all they want is a job. And then you tend to find out there are some organizations that are taking advantage of that situation, that this candidate is qualified, but they don't know their value. They don't know how much they are worth. So we're just going to give them kind of a basic kind of introductory salary instead of giving them the actual salary. So having a platform like yours where people can go and find out information like that, okay, someone who's got this qualification and this experience, this is how much they should be expecting, or if it's an
or somebody at this company in this role. Yeah, someone at this company in this role that I'm applying for is earning this. This is the salary range. So when I go for my interview and they ask what I expect to be paid, this is like, I just want to be paid fairly. I don't think I think most people just want to be treated fairly. They just want to be fairly compensated and know that if they're doing the same work as their colleague, that they're in the same pay range, that there isn't some weird, nepotism or weird factors that are happening, but that you're being treated equally. And I think companies will benefit. I know there's a global push just when you post a job to say what the salary range is. So that avoids a lot of the problems right up front. Now, if you're, in the US, a woman, they say earns 70 cents to the dollar of a man. But now if we just say what the salary at least range is, you have a better idea. So that hopefully could solve the problem too, is just more transparency when we're talking about the opportunities. But I think that we still have a long way to go in the region, but just globally too, to bring more insights to this space.
No, that's amazing, man. That is really, really good. So do you have any, like, for example, obviously you have not gone into Zimbabwe or Africa to look for work, so to say. You're actually creating work for other people. Have you faced any challenges in terms of like doing business in Zimbabwe? So if someone is thinking about doing business in Zimbabwe or in Africa, what would you say to them? What are the advantages or the disadvantages that you can highlight to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think like my perspective is different because I didn't go to Zimbabwe to try to be an employer or to try to do anything. I just wanted to be there and to live there, and I did. I lived there and just figured it out. I think you do have to at least have lived in the place where you're trying to start a company and start a business. I think it's pretty hard unless you're like a Netflix or a Spotify and you're just sort of making your services available. It's pretty hard to start anything in an area that you haven't experienced firsthand. Ideally, you live there. I wish I lived in Zimbabwe full time still, but it's just sort of not in the cards right now. But I think that's important. If you're thinking about starting a business in Zimbabwe, you should probably go and just live in Zimbabwe for a little bit and see what it's like, because there's a lot of nuances that you can't really explain to people, or just like ways in which things are done or ways in which you have to get things done that are just they're just special to Zimbabwe. And every country has their own peculiarities, their own ways of doing things. So you have to understand those. And I definitely don't understand them as well as somebody that is born and raised there, but I think I have a decent idea. But we've been fortunate at Uncommon. I mean, all we're doing really is raising money from outside of the country to bring it into the country, to be able to create jobs and teach people skills, and then have those skilled people get jobs that improve their lives. Like, it's pretty value add for everybody. There is no extraction. So fortunately, we've been able to make great partnerships with the government. And we're partnered with the Ministry of ICT, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Youth. We have great relationships with so many stakeholders that because we're just aligned. We're not political. We don't care about anything except empowering people with skills and opportunities. And the folks that we're working with, that's how they feel too. So we've been very fortunate in that regard. But we also started super, 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 super small, just like indies by the basketball court with some computers. We didn't try to be big right away. The advice that I was given was always dream big, start small, start now. And I think that's just great advice for anyone that's trying to do something. Like, you got to have a dream, because that's what's going to motivate you when it gets hard, and it will inevitably get hard. But that's your North Star, what you're trying to accomplish in the biggest way possible. But then you have to reverse engineer it into very small chunks, and you have to just start now, because it's going to be like a zigzaggy path to success. It's not going to be a straight line. And as you said, like the analysis paralysis, if you just sit there thinking and strategizing and researching and planning, it's going to loop, and you're just going to be back to square one, and you're going to be like more and more nervous about getting started.
There's always going to be something to research. No, let me research this first. Let me look into this first. So it's never going to take off. So that's amazing then. So on Pachena, you said did you say you're already operating now? You're up and running, or you officially
Yeah, we're
launching
kind of
it?
in like our little sort of beta launch. I mean, you can go and check us out, pachena.co. You can find your company, you can leave a review. We haven't yet rolled out the employer side of the platform, which is what we're going to do ahead of our official launch. So right now we're still just kind of quietly gathering feedback. I mean, it's out there, it's public, but we're just experimenting. We've registered as a company. I've registered in the US. This is not just a Zimbabwe company. The goal is to prove the concept in Zimbabwe and make it's a platform. Anyone can use it. Anybody can go on and leave a review. But the focus is on Africa, broadly speaking. We want to prove the concept in Zimbabwe, expand through SADC, and then maybe if our wildest dreams come true, we can have a platform that people from all over the continent are using, and maybe all over the world. I don't know. It's easy to get excited. But yeah, for now, the focus is just on figuring out how to build a great solution for the Zimbabwean market. And if that works well, then we'll try to figure out how to do that for other markets also. But it's up there. Try it out. Give us some feedback. It's a small team with a $0 budget, so be patient with us. But that's what we're working on now, is how to bootstrap and hopefully raise some money to really take an honest crack at it. Because I think it's a short window. I don't think this opportunity will be around for a long time. I think it's a great opportunity. I really do, but I think it's a short window.
Okay. So when it's kind of fully operational, up and running and everything, then what will be the process? Because obviously I can go onto it now, leave a review and things like that. What's the plan in terms of getting companies on it? So let's say recruiters want to use the platform. Is there a charge to get onto the platform, or how does it work?
Yeah, the employers, the companies are our customers. So it's always entirely free for job seekers and employees. Right now, employees, they can go search through all the companies, read reviews, find their former or current company, leave an anonymous review, share insights around compensation, around culture, around the interview process. We also have an insights page where it's just like highest paying companies in Zimbabwe, highest rated companies in Zimbabwe, interview tips, which are like aggregated summaries of just tips from people about the interview process, and a compensation comparison tool. So you can go on and just search. There's not a lot of data, guys. There's so it's a small data set, but theoretically the way it will work is that you can just go on, filter for industry, for experience level, for job type, and see what the market is paying for that. So it's very simple, just a way to compare and see what I should be getting. So that's all available now for anyone to play with. But the employers, they will be our customers. So we have to figure out how to make the tool really useful for them. And it's not just, oh man, people are talking shit about your company, you should probably have you should manage this. No, there are strict rules. It's not meant to be like gossip. It's meant to be helpful information. When a company signs up, it's a monthly subscription. So they'll be paying for a monthly subscription, and they'll be able to claim their page, respond to public reviews, read private reviews that people are leaving directly to you, not to the public, post jobs, manage the whole job application, job recruitment process, and then get access to these insights. So that will be for a monthly fee. They'll have access to all of that. So how do we get them? My initial thinking was, let me just DM as many people as I can and ask them to leave reviews. And then eventually we'll have thousands of reviews, and we'll get some momentum, and companies will then reach out and say, hey, I need to be able to manage. I need in. Now I think the approach is actually going to be different, which is why we're kind of racing to build out these employer-facing tools. What we want to do is to get our first early adopter employers, and we'll give them, X months free or discounted rate. They'll be our early adopters, and we want to onboard them ahead of this really sort of splashy public launch, so that they can, articulate to their community, their employees, their investors, their customers, that we care about transparency. We value transparency. We care about paying people fairly, about good, positive work environments, and they can be pro-transparency rather than reluctantly maybe coming on later. So they can really position themselves well. And honestly, But also we want to work with them to build out the tools and features to make sure that it is exactly what employers need. And hopefully by getting the employers first, it'll be easier to get the employees. They'll have, maybe the employer will even endorse this. We'd love to shoot some content with the major CEOs talking about how they care about transparency. We're on Pachena, we're proud of it. Our employees use it. It gives us a great temperature check of our staff. It gives us great insights. So that's the new strategy. We haven't yet tried it out because we're still building the last sort of tools for that in this MVP level, but hopefully we'll start pitching companies soon. And I have a couple aces up my sleeve. I'm not revealing them here. So if this all sounds naive, I have a little bit, I think, that will work on our side.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Obviously, it's something that you're still building. But I think what I like about it, when you're talking about, obviously, when you're talking about Uncommon, I can see the passion. I can see the desire to get things working. And I can also see it with Pachena, the excitement of the whole project and the desire to see it work. And I think it will be a really, really good tool for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I'll obviously go and check it out myself and see what's on there and see how we can help to get it going. So no, I appreciate.
Last thing I'll say, and I know we have to wrap it up, but the last thing I'll say is that also the whole Pachena experiment is an experiment in startup building. Like, what is now possible? This is, so far, Pachena is more or less one guy and AI and a lot of back and forth. And it's almost free. I don't want to say like it costs a couple $100, all of these tokens and credits, but in what it would have cost and the time that it would have taken a couple of years ago is insane. So now, like, this is partly what I want our students at Uncommon to realize, and just the young people in Zimbabwe to realize. We now have solar power almost everywhere, so electricity is becoming less of a problem. We've got Starlink almost anywhere, so affordable, reliable internet is less of a problem. And AI is making it so you don't even really need to know how to code anymore. I mean, you're better off knowing how things work and understanding the fundamentals. But in terms of bringing an idea, getting an idea to MVP level, you can almost do it entirely at like $0 budget now, which is insane. And do we think the economy of Zimbabwe is going to be more or less digital in the next 10 years? Like, it is clearly digitizing, and there is going to be so much opportunity for better software, and now anybody can build that better software. So my hope is that Pachena will be one example of just great new software for this market, and that it will inspire our students and anyone else that's sort of following along to just try to build their own startup and take on some of these, fill the gaps that exist, or even just try to do better than the legacy players, because we deserve great software. There's like no excuse in 2026 for a bad digital online experience. So there's opportunity out there for the entrepreneurs.
And like what you say, Pachena is a great example for the Uncommon students in terms of like showing them that this is what you can do with the knowledge that you're learning, in terms of like embracing technology and knowing that the barriers that we had before they're gone. They're being removed almost every day. They're being removed. So there's so much that you can do in your bedroom. There's so much you can do with so much less money needed in it. So that's really good, and I think that's really what we need at the moment, not just in Zimbabwe but in Africa as a whole, in terms of like bringing that knowledge and highlighting to people how much easier technology is making life. For those who really want to do things, ideas are coming alive because of the technology that we have. Totally. Just little access of that technology, you can do amazing things. So that's just really good.
And if you don't know where to start, just think about what are the frustrations in your life, what are the challenges, what are the aggravations, what annoys you, and chances are there's a business there. And like you said, the barriers to starting that business are almost down to zero. So it's an exciting time. I'm very optimistic about the future of Zimbabwe and just the world in general. I think it's an awesome time to be young and learning these skills.
That's amazing, man. Listen, I can talk to you all day. I had scheduled this for an hour, thinking that will be just 45 minutes, and I don't want to take too much of your time. I really appreciate your time. And I appreciate what you're doing. It's amazing. This podcast is all about finding African solutions to African problems, and you coming to Africa, coming to Zimbabwe, helping those young adults to take ownership of their lives, really take ownership of their education, and really see the put the input and see the output. And you are leading by example, showing them like, okay, if you want to do a startup, look at me. I've done the Pachena now. This is where I am. This is what I've used, and this is how much it costed me to start the kind of the program. So that's amazing. It's kind of leading by example. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm sure everyone who's listening will appreciate what you're doing for the kids in Zimbabwe, and for your plans for Africa, really, which is amazing. So for those who are listening and would like to get involved, there's a lot of things that you can do to get involved, either with Pachena or Uncommon. Follow the links below, and get in touch with Peter, with his team, and see what we can do to make this happen. Keep growing and keep providing education to our young adults, and keep solving problems for ourselves, really. So Peter, thank you very much again for joining me. I can't thank you enough. So thank you. Oh, by the way, before you go, you said you're going back to Zimbabwe, are you? When are you going?
Yeah, and thank you so much. This has been great. I mean, I'm tired from talking so much, but I really enjoyed the opportunity to tell the story and to talk about the big dreams and everything. So thank you. We're doing a small little fundraiser, kind of a cocktail party in New York City to support Uncommon on June 3rd in the West Village. So if any of your listeners or friends or anyone that sees this is in New York City, the link is uncommon.org/NYC-2026, and we'd love to have you there. So please do get a ticket while they're still available and come. I'm flying to Zimbabwe on June 4th. So hopefully we have an epic party on the 3rd, and then I'll be on the plane, heading over to Zim the next day. And I can't wait to be back.
I'm envious of you, man. I really am envious of you right now. Yeah. I'm hoping to go in October, in August. So
you got to come to Chitagwiza. I don't know if that's on your, if you go there, but if you still have business there, family there, but please visit our hub. It'll be up and running by then.
If you'll be even better if you're around in Zim as well, so we can meet up face to face. But even if you're not, I would like to go and see the those places that you have, and see how I can get involved in the time that I will be there. And but obviously I will contact you outside this as well to see how I can get involved. I've got a few ideas of my own as well that in terms of how I can support. So thank you. Enjoy Zimbabwe, and hope to catch up with you soon. Thank you, Peter. You take care.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for staying with us to the end of this conversation. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you there are some really valuable takeaways that you can take away with and implement and get involved if you want to get involved into the work that Peter is doing. Uncommon is doing some great work, some amazing work, things that are transforming young adults' lives and giving them opportunities that they wouldn't have if Uncommon was not in Zimbabwe at the moment. And if you look at the story that Peter shared with us, he's not gone to the lower density suburbs where people have got access to all those. He's going deep into the rural areas. He's going into the high density areas, DZ, Chitungwiza, where the actual need is, where the people who are, they don't have access to all those things. that's where he's finding himself in and helping those individuals. So please be part of it. You can donate. You just need to go on to uncommon.org and you'll be able to donate from there. If you can't donate money, you can also donate your time. They do have mentorship programs and other things that you can do to help to the organization and to reach more young adults in Zimbabwe. And Uncommon is starting in Zimbabwe, but it's actually the plan is for it to grow across Africa. So this is what we are here for. We are looking for African solutions to African problems, and this is one of them. So let's support it. Let's help them to grow. And thank you very much, guys. Please subscribe, share, like. Let's grow the channel so we can have more guests, more meaningful conversations, so we can all learn and succeed in whatever we do. Thank you very much. Have a good day, all. Bye.